Food security in Yemen continues to worsen, with 19 out of 22 governorates now classified as being in crisis or emergency. According to the latest analysis released by the Food and Agriculture Organization, the World Food Programme, and the government of Yemen. The number of food insecure people in Yemen has increased by 17% since the escalation of the conflict at the end of March. There are now more than 12.9 million people without adequate access to food. That is 2.3 million more than in March. This includes 6 million people who are severely food insecure, 1 million more than in March. Levels of acute malnutrition are also rising, with many people resorting to eating fewer meals a day or consuming cheaper, less nutritious food. Conflict, insecurity, and reductions in fuel imports are all driving up prices and pushing already struggling families to the brink. Yemen desperately needs a pause in fighting, increased access and funding for humanitarian assistance, and an immediate resumption of commercial imports.
Why the Sana'a delegation was denied until now to get accreditation to go into United Nations building. They have been isolated, they remained in the hotel, and of course they can choose who they bring in, but until today they are not allowed in.
It's the question you're really asking is a question about who are the delegates. We are trying to determine among both sides to make sure that they are represented, each side, by 7 representatives and 3 alternates. And we are still trying to get that determination for the Sana'a delegation, who those 10 names will be.
There are very limited hours remaining for these negotiations to take place. However, yet, I mean, there are many parties, political parties, and you are restricting the number to 7. Does that make sense?
It makes sense that each side should be represented by an equal number of delegates. And this is what the special representative, the special envoy, rather, Ismail Wel Sheikh Ahmed, has tried to impress upon the parties. He is, by the way, meeting with each of the parties in their respective areas. So I believe the intention today is, again, to meet both with the delegation from Riyadh and the delegation from Sana'a.
Bottom line of this issue is that the government of Sana'a, which the government of Yemen, is not recognized by the other political parties. And here you are trying to make them look like this rebels versus government.
We're not trying to make it look as rebels versus government. We're, like I said, I'm calling one of them the delegation from Riyadh, and the other one the delegation from Sana'a. We are trying to meet with each of them. We're trying to accord them the same status with the same number of representatives. We're trying as best as we can to make sure that each side feels that they are represented accurately and fairly.